All right, everyone. Welcome to OreoOlive.com. As you know, Oreo olives don't mix, but the abstract thought of putting those two words together has enlightened me to create a channel to discuss various topics. So, on today's episode, I want to pose the question to you all is what amount of money will be required for someone to feel comfortable? And that comfortable is going to be different for most people. And we can base that on a wide variety of individuals regarding the preference or circumstances that may be, and also factoring in the cost of living in their location. Now, I am not a financial guru, nor am I trying to be a financial guru, but it's just a question that I just ask and sometimes will have amongst friends just to see, where people's mind is at and what people's expectations are, especially in today's society. And what I definitely want to get out of this is figuring out, at least from the community at large, on what they may feel comfortable. Now, keep in mind, comfort is going to be different for different people. While one group of people may say they may be comfortable with anything over a million plus, while others just want to be able to pay for the basic necessities that they may need or have in life in order to maintain. While others may be comfortable looking at it from an entrepreneurship standpoint, while others feel more comfortable and safer working for someone else and leaving it at work and just come home and just be able to enjoy the basic things of life. Like they maybe want just a nice car, they maybe just want like a nice residence to live, okay neighborhood, and safe for their kids. But I want you all to think about this because there are a couple of different factors that I want to throw in there. And some of them can be quite subjective, but I definitely want to just throw some points out there to you on what people may say that could be a little bit comfortable for them. So definitely do not hesitate at all to definitely put your points in the comments below because I definitely want to be able to see how you all think about these as we're going over these topics here. Now, when you're looking at what amount of money will be required for someone to feel comfortable, it's going to be based on different situations. Now, when we're looking at the basic needs, is having enough money, enough resources to cover essential expenses. And that could be, in terms of housing. When you're looking at houses, do you need $100,000 house? Do you need a $600,000 house or $1 million house? It's going to be different for different people. When you're looking at food, are you shopping for organic food or are you shopping just for food from just a normal grocery store that the majority of the population will probably go and shopping at? Um, you can also look into healthcare as well and different utilities that a person may have. And those type of things like the basic needs, everybody's household is going to have, everybody's going to have that same thing in regards to they have to have a house, no matter what the value of that is. People are going to have to eat food, no matter where they get it from. And people are going to have health care for sure, which is almost going to be the same thing for a large group of people, especially if they're working at the same place or within the same city. Likely they probably have the same type of health care. But those fundamental needs right there is what is comfortable for most people. Now, where it starts to change for a lot of people is when you're looking at the lifestyle in which one lives. So, what is the desired lifestyle? When you're looking at the desired lifestyle that a person is living, that can most definitely have a great influence on how much money that you will need. So, for example, if you're living in Memphis, Tennessee, which is the area that I live in, the average salary, at least in the Memphis metropolitan area, is probably around about $45,000 a year, and that could be a pre-tax income. Okay, and if you enjoy dining out, you enjoy traveling. or you enjoy engaging in different types of hobbies, you're gonna need more disposable income to be able to enjoy those luxuries. And so when you're comparing, living in Memphis, Tennessee to, for example, living in San Francisco, you're talking about, a 50% higher cost of living between Memphis, Tennessee, and San Francisco. So a person who's making about $45,000 a year pre-tax as a household, say if they go and move to San Francisco, they're going to need to make a little over $90,000, almost $100,000 a year. So you're talking about 50% increase just to live about the same type of life that you would live in Memphis, or sorry, live in the same type of life that you know, if you're in Memphis and you want to move out to San Francisco, you have to have about a 50% increase in your income. Now, for people who live in those bigger cities, come to smaller cities, they normally would keep their same or try to match their same salary because when they know when they come down here, they're going to be able to get more for their money. But as you know, once we get our paychecks, we tend to go out to eat or buy things or buy, cars and things like that because we have a certain lifestyle that we want to be able to maintain. And if it's just you making $45,000 a year, like that's fine. I mean, you can definitely get by, but when you start having a family, it's a little bit different. You have to think of things a little bit different way because you're going to definitely need more disposable income in order to meet the demand of what you're wanting to bring in terms of eating out, traveling, and engaging in different types of activities, hobbies, and things of in that nature. And your location is what I was just talking about is going to vary depending on one place to another. Now, if you're living in a city with a high cost of living, that might require you to have a larger income in order to maintain the same type of comfort level, especially in as you would in the more affordable areas. So think about going to like from like Memphis to New York or Memphis to Chicago or Memphis to like a bigger city. You're gonna have to tap into jobs, of course, that's well over $100,000 a year to be comfortable, and that's not even taking into consideration what you would need to live after you retire, if you so choose to retire after the fact. Okay, so those are going to change depending on where you live. Now, where I said a minute ago, when you was looking at from Memphis to San Francisco and it being about 90 thousand dollars a year. Well, what about if you move to New York? We're gonna take it. Let's take it to Manhattan. Okay, if you had $45,000 in Memphis pre-tax, you move to downtown Manhattan, which is like really expensive. In order to maintain that same lifestyle that you lived in Memphis on 45,000 and maintain it in New York in Manhattan, you're looking at probably about a 60% increase. So that's probably about a little over 110,000, $116,000 a year that you would need to make in order to have that same type of comfort living that you had when you lived back down in the South. And you can variate this however you want, depending on where you live, where you want to go. It's not the end all be all. Just giving you some examples to kind of go by. Now, aside from what you're making, you also have to look at what are people or if people are saving and future planning. And that is that you have to include like savings for emergencies or retirement if you so choose to, and at least an adequate savings is to provide some type of safety net or long-term security in the event if you get hurt. Now, there's mixed reviews of people telling people, hey, you need to save money, and people saying, no, you need to invest, whichever floats your boat, whichever will work for you. But when you have those, you also have to look at the debts and obligations that you may have, because being free from overwhelming debt and financial obligation contributes also to a sense of comfort. Would you much rather make more money and be in debt, or make less money and be in no debt at all and live comfortable? It's going to be different for most people. Now, in terms of you going back to school or education, those two alone, education and healthcare, can have a substantial impact in your overall financial well being, because people tend to want to go back to school in order to make more money. Sometimes people get hurt, and it may bring their lifestyle to shambles. Those two are probably the most used, or most, uh, those two are probably the uh, most two factors out there that normally hurts most people. Is either education or something dealing with healthcare that will tend to make or break their financial freedom, if that makes any sense. Now, when you're looking at family independence, responsibilities to support a family, or if you have kids, those also can affect and have an influence on your financial and comfort level. So, when you're looking at all of those, from your basic needs to your lifestyle to your where you're living at, and when you're living there, are you do you have any kind of savings or financial planning? And then when you plan all that, you're gonna have debt and obligations and different education and medical emergencies, um, and of course dealing with family and kids and things like that. Your job stability. If you're either an entrepreneur or you're working for someone, and if you're working for someone, most people are going to want a stable income. And once they feel that they have a stable income, or they may feel in this day and age they have job security, and we all know how that goes, especially in today's economy, those can greatly impact how comfortable that a person will feel. And so it's definitely important to note that the type of comfort that you want is not necessarily going to be only and specifically focused on the monetary value or the amount of money that you make, but rather the balance between different people's financial situations, lifestyle choices, and their overall well-being. Now, people are going to have different priorities. People are going to put their value into cars, or homes, or vacations and things like that. But it's a good idea, just from reading different books and things like that. They say that it's a good idea to create a budget, set financial goals, and things like that. That's going to align with the income levels that you have, and that is going to help you get what you need in order to survive and thrive. So, like, listen, subscribe people to the channel. Thanks for definitely tuning in today, and for the question that I asked, and definitely hope to bring more content to you soon.